Are you one of those who eat pizza with pineapple? Omelette with or without onion? And chicken wings? Spicy or not? Humans are persistent. Since we appeared 200,000 years ago, our brains have developed complex chemical alarm systems that warn us when a substance is not good for the body and vice versa. That's why a good grilled steak smells so good. When fat is heated, it releases a cocktail of irresistible aromatic compounds that signal your brain there's a lot of high-quality energy there. However, many plants signal the exact opposite to our nervous system, that it's better not to go near them, and yet we eat many of them. This is something that cultures all over the world have done for thousands of years. But that doesn't mean we should blindly assume it's the right thing to do. What we've always eaten, the natural and original human diet, before civilizations. What's wrong with someone liking pizza with spicy pineapple and pieces of omelette with onion? Well, aside from the possible gastronomic aberration, we're talking about three very aggressive molecules. Pineapple contains bromelain, an enzyme that attacks the proteins in your tissues and breaks them down. It literally destroys flesh. Your flesh. Your saliva counteracts it pretty well, but if you eat a lot, it causes lesions. Spicy peppers contain capsaicin, a powerful irritant. It's just that in high doses, it can cause serious symptoms in the body, even death. And don't think that onions get off easy either. When you cut it, it releases a molecule derived from sulfur acids that attacks your eyes, one of the most important organs we have. And these are just three examples, but the truth is that many plant-based foods are full of these harmful substances. A more compelling case is what happens with young children and vegetables. Many parents make a serious mistake by forcing their children to eat certain types of vegetables. If the kids cry, sometimes it's because that food is really going to harm them. I'm mainly talking about spinach and Swiss chard. The thing is, under the age of 3, and especially under 6 months, humans are not able to process the nitrates they contain. This causes the hemoglobin in their blood to turn into its evil twin, methemoglobin, which doesn't carry oxygen, leading to blue baby syndrome. As you grow, your metabolic systems mature enough to handle these nitrites, allowing you to eat these nutrient-rich vegetables without any consequences. So it would seem like there's an evolutionary effort to adapt, right? As if our bodies, despite all these toxic compounds, over tens of thousands of years of evolution, had discovered that the price to pay is worth it. Let's go back to the video. We were talking about evolution, human evolution, and this is exactly the perspective we need. The evolutionary one. The best way to address such a complex issue is to travel back to the beginnings, stripping away current and past cultural influences. If we go to a time when there were hardly any traditions, no comforts, no gastronomy, just pure survival, it's much easier to study ourselves. We were the same in terms of biology, but without the current biases and cultures that make it impossible to explore what the true human diet is. And I find it fascinating how the answer to such a complex question can be found in something as simple as your teeth. Look at these 3 skulls. The first belongs to a herbivore, the second to a human, and the third to a carnivore. I want you to notice how different a carnivore's teeth are from a herbivore's. The first ones are much sharper for cutting meat, while the second ones are flatter for grinding plants. And what about humans? Well, they have a bit of everything. They're an anatomical hybrid, flat and rectangular incisors that are more like those of a herbivore, but molars and premolars that are a bit sharper, leaning more toward the carnivorous side. And the canines are my favorites because they're right in the middle, not too sharp and not too flat. A beautiful manifestation of the thousands of years of gastronomic evolution of our species condensed into a single piece, because indeed humans are by nature very omnivorous. But be careful, because here comes the surprise for many. We lean a bit more toward being herbivorous than carnivorous. The area where we lived was more decisive since that affected the immediate availability of different types of food, but in general terms, that was the trend. However, a minimum amount of meat has always been present. In fact, in our case, it's essential unless it's replaced with supplements. Alright, our wilder nature is that of omnivores with a certain preference for plant foods. This is because plants were really worth it. They're very easy to find due to their abundance. They preserve much better, they have a lot of nutrients, and the key point of this video, you don't have to hunt them, but they do have their own defense mechanisms. In recent years, a nutritional trend has proliferated that is mistakenly based on the idea that we shouldn't eat plants because they resist being eaten and therefore harm us with their poison. The problem with this argument is that mammoths also resisted being eaten, and if they hit you with their tusk, it didn't just make your eyes water a little like with onions, it probably made your friends cry at your funeral. The toxicity that many plants have is not a sign that they are bad for us, it's simply their only defense system. The same idea also applies to animals consumed in carnivorous diets. One system is chemical, that of plants, and the other is physical, that of animals, but they are two sides of the same coin. We've eliminated the physical one with current technology. The chemical one is more complex and sometimes even preferred, so it persists. The key is that both resist differently. Your brain signals you when it senses the onion's sting. Yes, but it would also warn you if you saw the horns of the cow you just ate running toward you. The key is to understand the difference between harmful food, like a barbecue of Amanita muscaria with rattlesnake fangs, and food that protects itself through subtle harm. 100% reversible, like a taco with caramelized onion and beef. When we went out hunting, we almost always got hurt, but a scratch or even a bite, in exchange for the huge amount of nutrients, protein and energy you got from a good grilled wolf leg, was something that was totally worth it. Cost-benefit applied to human survival. The same thing happens with plants. That's why the liver learns to process nitrates. But in the case of vegetables, how can we know if we're taking the equivalent of a little scratch or more, like being impaled by a mammoth horn in the carotid artery? Today I had an apple for breakfast. I really like apples. This is an apple seed. It contains a compound called amygdalin. It's released if you chew the seed, and when it comes into contact with your gastric juices, it produces cyanide. If you eat 2 or 3, nothing will happen, but if you increase the dose, it can be quite dangerous. Because this is the crux of the matter. Dosis sola facit venenum. The dose makes the poison. Even water or oxygen in excess can poison you or even kill you. Every chemical substance is toxic to humans above certain amounts, but the plant-based foods we find in the supermarket are within the safe range, with plenty of room to spare. Some may cause a few temporary symptoms, but you'll be fine and it'll be worth it. So don't be afraid and enjoy your omelette with onion. And your chili peppers, but no, not pineapple pizza. Please don't do that to yourself. Thanks for watching the video. Goodbye.